Today, we are strapping in to examine an absolute masterclass in extreme contrast. We're going to be looking at a completely wild experiment conducted by the YouTube creator MrBeast, where he and his team experienced, well, pretty much the entire spectrum of aviation. We're going to explore this totally absurd price disparity, riding the escalator of extravagance all the way from the absolute bare-bones bottom to the unimaginably luxurious top.
So as we go through this, I really want you to keep one core question in the back of your mind. What is the true return on investment as you climb from a literal $1 ticket all the way up to a $500,000 flying mansion? I mean, what exactly are you buying when the numbers get this astronomically high? Are you just buying more comfort? Is it about speed, or is it something else entirely? Let's take this chronological journey up the ladder of extreme luxury together and find out.
We are dropping straight into the action with our shocking baseline price, literally one single dollar. That is basically the cost of a candy bar, right? But here, it's actually the cost of a flight. And before we can truly appreciate the absolute peak of aviation luxury, we've got to establish just how intense the contrast is at the very bottom. Surviving the $1 flight, or the open-air rickety reality.
Okay, let's dive into this. For a single dollar, you are definitely not buying comfort. And honestly, you arguably aren't even buying peace of mind. You're essentially buying a seat in this incredibly rickety open-air contraption flown by a pilot named Doug. And just to really put the visceral fear of this whole experience into perspective, Doug actually reassures his passenger by casually stating he's flown this thing a grand total of 6 times. Yeah, 6. It's this terrifying lack of safety perfectly mixed with comedic contrast. As they take off, the wind is just whooshing everywhere, metal is clanking, and the passenger literally asks out loud why the aircraft sounds like a lawnmower engine. It is an environment where survival honestly feels like the primary amenity.
Moving on to commercial first-class upgrades, it is time to start climbing that luxury ladder. And this brilliantly illustrates how steeply the cost multiplies the second we move out of pure survival mode and into commercial first-class upgrades. We jump from just $1 to our first major milestone at $1,000. Then we 10x that to $10,000, and then more than double it again to $25,000. This is where the real quirks of luxury start showing their face.
So let's break down these amenities and see how things actually build across these commercial milestones. At $1,000, you get your own dedicated seat, a TV, free pajamas, and a seat that fully reclines into a bed. In the source material, one passenger actually noted it delightfully felt like a coffin, just completely isolating them from their travel companions. But the major downside here is the total lack of privacy. You're constantly exposed to other passengers just walking right by you. So maybe you upgrade to the $10,000 ticket. Here, the luxury curve absolutely spikes. You're getting unlimited legroom, a personal in-seat drink bar, a massive touchscreen, and, this is crazy, a fully equipped bathroom with a shower. You can literally take a hot shower at 30,000 feet. But, and here is the highly relatable, super annoying reality of commercial luxury. Despite dropping 10 grand on a seat and literally having an onboard shower, the airline still hits you with a $20 fee for Wi-Fi. Seriously.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the bizarre diminishing returns you suddenly encounter when pushing into the extreme high end of these commercial flights. For 25 grand, the space is massive. You're talking a queen-size bed, a personal flight attendant serving you caviar, and a suite so large you can comfortably do jumping jacks right in the middle of it. But strangely enough, paying an extra $15,000 actually gets you a much worse bathroom. Remember, the $10,000 flight had a full shower and heated floors. The $25,000 flight, it has this inferior, half-size bathroom with no shower at all. It just proves that in the commercial space, throwing more money at a ticket doesn't perfectly scale every single amenity across the board.
Next up, the private jet leap, escaping the commercial crowds entirely.
Now we're talking $100,000. This right here is the major threshold. We are no longer just buying a seat, guys. We are buying the entire plane.
When you drop 6 figures on a flight, the entire paradigm shifts. You are getting 4 massive, separate rooms. You get a bathroom that is so luxurious, it literally has a seat inside it just so you can sit and watch TV. And because you own the environment, you control the catering. You don't have to eat the fancy airline caviar if you don't want to. You can bring your own pizza on board. It's all about complete freedom. In the experiment, you see one person pretending to fly the plane, another is just crushing pizza, and another is taking a nap on a legitimately hotel-quality bed. But the true luxury, the real reason extreme wealth gravitates here, is the complete elimination of friction. There are 0 TSA lines. None. There are no layovers. You are saving massive amounts of time and preserving total, absolute privacy. The 300 grand blimp and the economics of spectacle. $300,000.
Now, logically, you might think a higher price tag means an even faster, more insanely luxurious jet, right? Well, actually, scratch that. We are taking a fascinating detour to look at a novelty flight because it reveals something incredible about modern digital economics. This staggering cost wasn't for speed at all. It was literally to rent and wrap a giant blimp that moves so slowly it can be pulled along by a rope. No joke.
So how on earth does a flight like this even exist? It's funded by the economics of spectacle. Let's walk step by step through how a massive stunt like this is paid for. Step 1. You secure a massive corporate sponsorship, which in this case was ZipRecruiter. Step 2. You wrap the side of the blimp in a highly visible, viral joke to guarantee internet engagement, specifically painting the phrase, "I heart Carl's mom" on the side of it. Step 3. You fly this giant, floating billboard over one of the busiest events in the world, the Daytona 500, with over 150,000 people looking up and reacting to it. And Step 4, to seamlessly integrate the sponsor, the host actually conducts a mid-air job interview over the phone while literally floating in the blimp. It totally pulls back the curtain on digital age marketing, doesn't it? The aircraft here isn't a transportation device anymore. It is a content generation machine, paying for its own absurd price tag through pure, unfiltered attention.
Which brings us to the $500,000 flight, the absolute pinnacle of airborne luxury.
We have officially reached the climax of our extravaganza escalator. $500,000. $500,000 for a single flight. Just let that sink in for a second.
For $500,000, you are basically chartering a flying mansion. The sheer scale is overwhelming. The square footage alone is literally bigger than most people's houses. When you board, you are heavily encouraged to take your shoes off, mostly because the carpet you're walking on costs $2 million by itself. It features multiple bedrooms, gold-plated sinks, multiple showers, an onboard feeder, a massive living room, and get this, even in-flight massage stations. And because you dictate the rules, you completely customize the inventory. During the flight, the host jokingly tosses the plane's standard gas station chocolates aside, ordering the flight attendants to only serve his own brand Feastables. It is total, uncompromising control over an environment that easily rivals a 5-star luxury hotel, except, it's soaring through the clouds.
What money actually buys, and the ultimate return on investment.
So the crucial point is this. When we analyze this escalator from a single dollar to $500,000, what are we actually seeing? Well, we see that at the lower tiers, money essentially buys basic safety and slight physical comfort. But extreme wealth? It scales completely differently. It buys total privacy, it buys unprecedented, impossible space, it buys the elimination of waiting. No TSA, no lines, no crowds. And perhaps most importantly, it buys the ability to share the experience. At the very end of the $500,000 flight, the host reveals that he actually brought a group of random subscribers along for the ride and then surprised them all with an all-expenses-paid trip to Disney World. Total environmental control allows you to take what would normally be just a simple flight and turn it into a completely life-changing event for others. Which brings us to a final thought for you to ponder today. We've looked at the raw data, we've seen the insanely escalating amenities. But at the end of the day, value is ultimately subjective. Knowing what you know now about the diminishing returns of amenities versus the ultimate luxury of space and time, would you rather have one single unforgettable $500,000 flight in a flying mansion? Or would you take 500 individual $10,000 first-class trips where you can take a shower? It's a pretty fascinating question about the true utility of extreme money. Thanks so much for joining me on this incredible journey. Keep learning, and I will see you on the next explainer.